Hello, I'm here with Abby Hennessy of Westford Academy. She is one of Marathon Sports NIL athletes. She's also a New Balance NIL athlete. Um, if you're from the Massachusetts area, you're probably familiar with her. She is the state record holder in the mile. Um, Welcome, Abby. Thank you for
Thanks.
joining me. I know you're coming from practice. And just for context for viewers, it's Thursday, November 6th, so we're 2 days out from the state divisional meets. What did you guys do at practice today? Was it just kind of like an easy sort of pre-meet day?
I actually had a rest day today, but I mean, I did like a really short like lift and mobility thing. Um, but yeah, most of the girls just went on a short, easy run and stuff, and then we'll do like pre-meet tomorrow, so a short, easy run again and some strides and whatnot, just to get ready for Saturday. So I did a pretty hard workout yesterday, and then taking it easy today and tomorrow, obviously. So yeah.
Nice. Do you do like a lot of strength and mobility work, or just your
Yeah,
team?
I have. So apart from my school coaches, I also have like a private strength coach, and she also like writes most of my workout plans and stuff, and like works together with the school team, and so she's a big proponent of strength training. So I usually strength train like twice a week, and then do other like mobility and glute activation and whatnot. Otherwise, but yeah.
Nice. Um, Before we get too much back into the running stuff and this season, I was just curious. What was your experience with marathon before we reached out to you about the NIL deal? Because the Westford store is relatively new. Um, were you already shopping there, or had you shopped at other marathons before?
So they actually do a like team night every season for our cross country or track team, and it was really funny because a few like days or a week before Marathon reached out, I was at the team night at Marathon Sports that had just opened in Westford, and I bought like new On Cloud shoes or something for like my easy run shoes, and then or like I think I bought like two pairs of shoes or something. So I spent a whole bunch of money at Marathon Sports, and then they reach out a few days or like a week later, and they're like, "Hey, we'd love you to be for you to be an NIL athlete." And I was like, "Well, that's funny, like timing." Yeah, it was super funny timing because Marathon Sports reached out, and then we like signed the contract a few weeks later, and the day after we signed the contract, New Balance reached out, and I was like, "It's when it rains, it pours," I guess. So
Oh wow, I didn't know that, they were back to back like that. I thought there
yeah.
was a bigger gap in between. Um, I guess on the topic of that, how has that NIL program? I mean, even with us or with New Balance, kind of helped you um, this season and last season, and just as a runner.
I think it's been a really valuable experience for me with marathon sports, like getting to be part of the community. I'd say, and getting to know more runners and like the manager at the store in Westford and everything. It's been really nice to see how like a community based like running store like Marathon Sports kind of like supports everyone. And then with like New Balance, it's been an amazing experience as well. Like with like getting to go to nationals last year and like in the seated heat and whatnot with everything, and then like just all the opportunities they'll give me in the coming months and of like indoor and outdoor track to go to all kinds of different meets that I would choose to go to, is something I'm really excited for, and I haven't really gotten to like utilize this cross country season yet. Obviously, like getting all the gear and whatnot has been so cool, and like especially like bringing it to my teammates and seeing how like it can like bring joy to like the rest of the team too, and like trying out new shoes or something for workouts and yeah.
Yeah, actually, on that topic, I'm curious. What do you race in? Do you race in cross country spikes, or do you ever run in like I hate to call them super shoes, but that seems to be
I
what most
call them
people
too.
call them. Yeah. Because I have seen some kids doing both. What do you typically run in? Or I
Yeah, I
guess
know
depends
like
on the
a
course,
lot of
maybe.
kids out like in California or something on like courses that aren't as rugged as here in New England will be running on super shoes a lot, or like if there's a lot of pavement and stuff. So I wore track spikes actually at the Ocean State Invitational, which had like a plastic plate on them, and it wasn't the best
Yep.
experience because I was sliding a bit on the rocks and stuff. So I learned from that, because I did know that like some of the college teams that are sponsored by New Balance would use those, but didn't know it then that that would only be for grass courses. And so I've also used like their super shoe, the SC Elite, at the Twilight meet in Cape Cod, and at DCL's, like my league meet in Boston, but that was more of a workout. So, but those two meets, I use those, and I really love those shoes. Those are like such a fun shoe to run in, and but I'm planning on using like their cross country spike for meets where it really counts, like later in the season now, and obviously divisionals in 2 days and then states, and we'll see at like Franklin Park. There's kind of more concrete now because it's like the temporary course, but I think it'll be manageable.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I'm not too. I mean, I'm familiar with Franklin Park, but I'm not, I guess, familiar with the new course. So there is a little bit more concrete.
Yeah, well, I don't have the clearest memory of it from beforehand because the last time I ran on it was sophomore year, but
Yeah.
it's like you do two woods loops now, and then you go up Barricade Hill, which is like densely packed gravel anyway,
Yeah.
so it worked well for not having spikes. And then like the stretch to get to the hill is probably like a third of a mile or something. That's, or probably only a quarter of a mile on pavement, and then you kind of have to go back on it as well. So, I mean, it just gets to be annoying. I personally hate running on spikes on concrete. That just like irks me so much. So,
Cool. I guess you kind of hinted at that, but what are your plans for the rest of the season? Like we already talked, we have the state divisional meet this weekend. The following weekend is Meet of Champions. Have you decided where you are going to run for, I guess, the postseason?
yeah, I'm hoping to go to the Brooks like foot no, sorry, the old Foot Locker, the new Brooks.
Yeah.
That will be at Franklin Park again. I'm super excited for that. Been a really big goal of mine to go to nationals. That was one of my biggest disappointments last year, from not racing cross country, is the not getting the chance to go to cross country nationals, because that was my goal going into that season. And so coming back and taking a round two now is something I'm super excited for.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I still think of it as Foot Locker, but yeah, now it's Brooks and Fleet Feet, which is awesome that they're carrying on the torch. But yeah, I think the legacy with that race is really cool.
Yeah.
So I'll be excited to see a race there. In regards to last year, I think you raced and won Ocean State, and then it seemed like you shut everything down in cross country. So were you injured from there until I think you kind of came back late winter last year?
Yeah, so last October I was actually hospitalized for RED-S, or relative energy deficiency in sport. And yeah, that was a few days before the Twilight meet, and that was really hard for me because I had my eyes on that meet for so long. I really loved that meet when I went to it my sophomore year, and I knew it was a really fast course, and I was like, I'm going to PR by such a big margin, like everyone's going to be like, ooh, who is she? And so not getting to race that and knowing I felt so fit right then, and like that was one of the hardest things to like get over mentally, was that like even though I felt so good, like it was actually when I was at my lowest physically. And so I had to take like 2 months ish off completely, and then I started like really really low volume, returning to training. I was like biking like for 30 minutes like 3 times a week or something for like all of
Wow.
December, and it got much better in the new year. And I actually got like the new private coach that I was talking about, and she really like changed my attitude around. Like she was so helpful and just like such a positive light in like a super hard part of my life. And like she completely changed the way I trained everything, and like working smarter, not harder. One of the biggest problems was that summer leading into my hospitalization in October was I was getting up really high to really high volume, and I just was not prepared for that. Like my body was not prepared for that. And I was like trying to like reach 50 miles a week. I thought that was what was going to make me the better runner in the long term, and learning that now that like was not the smartest move. And also like that you have to let your body adapt. You have to, we're like young women, you have to make sure that everything is in balance and whatnot. So coming back, like knowing that I'm a stronger runner after that. And so I took, like, I started training in January, but it was super low volume still, probably only running like 3 times a week. And then in February, I basically all I had done was like strength trained a little bit, and then a whole bunch of like aerobic foundation work of like tempos and whatnot, and nothing on the track really yet. And then my coach was like, hey, do you want to go run like a 4x4 relay? Like, I think it would be fun, like get your spirits up or something. And so that was really great to like have that chance to run with my team. And I think I did like 3 or 4 4x4s over the course of the winter season. And I didn't really run any other like individual races, except for I ran 1 800 at a BU, like last chance meet that was like mostly college athletes, and then I ran at New Balance Nationals, and that was like the biggest shock to me. Was like that's when I knew that taking all the time off and everything that was so hard in the moment was really going to be worth it in the long run, because I had PR'd in the mile. I ran like 4:42, like for my first thing back off of like almost no speed training, just like aerobic foundation and like I don't know, like deadlifting in the gym and stuff. So that was really exciting for me, and just like really got my hopes up for that outdoor, because I just had no idea where I would be. And what was hard about the winter was I was like, I don't know what kind of shape I'm in, like how long will it be until I'm back to where I was and whatnot. And so that was something that was really helped like change my mentality around too.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, because I think as a spectator watching your season, starting like late in indoors, it seemed like it was kind of very methodical. Like you started, like you said, with a few 4x4s, then an 800, and then a mile. Were you surprised with then the kind of the results you had outdoors? I mean, you had a pretty incredible outdoor season. Or
I
did
could
it?
never in a million years have told you that I'd be where I am today.
That's awesome.
Like last year now, I thought like I didn't know what my future in the sport would look like. I didn't know if I would have a future. I didn't know what, I had so many questions that were going unanswered from doctors, and just like having so many mixed signals sent to me. I was like, I felt like I was put into like this program that like was one size fit all and didn't really support me as an athlete. And getting to like getting back to training and like kind of like proving to them that like, hey, like my training wasn't like a symptom of some disorder. It was my passion and like my love and my dream, and like getting to show them that like I can crush it in a healthy body too. That outdoor is really, really rewarding. Going into it, it was like my biggest goal was like I want to break 440 in the mile. Like that would be so cool. And so breaking it, I ran like 440 like 2 times I think, and I was like, oh no, am I going to be just that close? And then at the all-state meet, I ran 4:37, and I was so excited about that. I got the state record by like 0.1 seconds, and I was like, what? I did not think I could do that my junior year. And then running 4:34 at nationals was like a dream come true, and then just like, I was so shocked for like weeks after that. I did not think that would be possible, and I think it was a big reflection of like, all the work I'd put in since January, I'd say, and that was like one of the biggest blessings in disguise is how taking that time off last fall, how it like helped me in the short term too, not just talking about like my long-term longevity in the sport, but also just like having a longer aerobic build into the outdoor season, instead of like splitting it up into like I'm training and peaking during indoor and then training and starting all over for the outdoor season. Those are 2 really short seasons that you just can't get as far. Whereas how I trained last spring and last winter really helped me like have a long-term build and really have an epic peak by June. So it's something we've also learned for going into next year, and something I'm really excited for.
Yeah, that kind of ties into my next question. You mentioned you did a hard workout yesterday, was it?
Yeah.
So are you kind of, I mean, like you said, you're going to be racing hard this week and next week, but are you kind of aiming for, regionals and then
Yeah.
nationals?
Yeah, I definitely haven't like super peaked yet. Like I hadn't still running hard workouts and stuff, and it was funny like the Twilight meet where I PR'd at. My coach told me like a few days before, she's like, "Hey, know that your legs are not going to be fresh during this race. Like you might feel like crap." And I go into it and I felt so amazing, and I don't know what it was, but like it just maybe it was like the energy in the environment. It's
Yeah.
like such a cool meet, but I felt super fresh, and that was really exciting too. And seeing how like my training is supporting me and not breaking me down in the middle of the season when you're running these super hard workouts and stuff. And I definitely still am staying on the let's do some hard workouts and then take 2 days easy before big meets right now, but and then aiming to peak all states, regionals, and then nationals, because it's crazy to believe that like nationals is still like 5 weeks away, I think. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a long season.
Yeah, I think I think nationals for cross country is a little bit more difficult than track. So I feel
Yeah,
like
definitely.
track it's a little bit more like you got states, all states or meet of champions, the New England's, and it's like usually a week or 2 weeks
Yeah,
for nationals. But yeah, I think nationals is in December or like even like the second week of December.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess we keep switching back between track and cross country, but I'm just curious. After last season, do you consider yourself more of like a mile or middle distance runner?
Yeah, I actually never ran the mile until the like spring of my sophomore year, and all of my freshman year I was like considering myself an 800 runner, and I thought to be a really good 800 runner I'd have to like break 60 in the 400, and I tried like at like 5 different meets to break 60 in the 400. So I spent all of my focus and energy on the 400 my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, I was like, hey, wouldn't it be fun to try a mile? And I really like fell in love with the distance, I'd say. And yeah, I now consider myself like an 800 miler. And one of my big goals for this like indoor outdoor season is to try a few 2 miles. That's something that's always kind of scared me. I was like running 8 miles on an outdoor track or 16 on an indoor track. I would think that would drive me insane or something. So I'm excited to see what I could do in that too, because I know through my training now that like I'm respond really well to like aerobic training too, and really tapping into that side of training more, because I used to have a much bigger focus on like speed work and whatnot, and I really did not do many tempos and stuff, and now my coach has me doing like a tempo once a week and stuff, and really trying to stay on top of like the aerobic side. So I know that I've gotten much fitter and stronger on that side of things, so I'm excited to see what I could do on the longer side, not including cross country obviously, but
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be interested to see you in a 2 mile. I mean, I guess at this point, the results are in. You've been running pretty well in XC, but I was going to ask, were you a little bit nervous coming into this season? Again, like running more 800 mile, and now you're moving up to the 5K. Was there a little bit of nervousness going into the fall?
Um, I was really excited for the fall to switch things up. I've always really loved cross country and like the team aspect of it, and I just love our team and how like close knit we are. I would say my biggest like fear going into this season was last year when I didn't get to compete and I had set all these big goals for myself in cross country. Was I always had this idea that, oh, if I fail this year, junior year, I have like something to fall back on senior year. Like I always have like a second chance or something. So going into the senior year saying, hey, like this is my last chance to do anything. Like if you mess up, like there's no like next time, like you'll be in college and stuff. But I think like realizing that like it's not the end of the world. Some races will go well and some races won't. And that's just the nature of the sport. And like watching the college teams race and stuff has gotten me super excited for college too. And like it's not like it's over. It's just one more K, you know? It will be different, but it's the same sport still. So I'm super excited for cross country in college too. And I'm just like trying to soak in every minute of high school cross country that I have left too.
Yeah, and speaking of your team, I mean, you're part of a very good cross country team as well. What was it like watching Westford Academy win last year? Obviously, I'm sure you were wishing you were running, but was it a different experience, kind of being on the sidelines and watching your teammates run?
Yeah, that was a really hard experience for me, especially how close it was to having to stop running and everything. And there's a million things I would do differently now, looking back at those few months, and a lot of regrets I have. But I think I learned so much from those experiences too. And I think like watching them was like I was really inspired by how much each and every person on that team put in the work, and like how just like excited everyone was. And like I remember the divisional meet, it was at like Northfield Mountain, and like the whole first mile is like straight uphill, and like everyone was just like excited to be there no matter what, and like just racing and like cheering everyone on and stuff. And I think it was really hard for me, and I think a lot of times during that cross country season I also had to take a step back from the sport and realize that like there's more to me than an athlete and stuff. And so I know that I wasn't completely connected to the team in every second that I could have been, but I think it was also something I had to do for my mental health.
Yeah. Well, it must be great now being with the team, and I mean, you guys are one of the top contenders. Is that as a team? Is that something you guys talk about? Like, I mean, you guys are you're going to be battling for first place, this week and next week. Like, do you guys talk about like race strategies or where you might need to finish to get the win, anything like that, or do you guys just kind of focus on training?
Yeah, I think last year our team was definitely the underdog going into the postseason or like championship season, and I think it's the same case now. Lexington has a really strong team, and I think it will be a fighting battle to see if we can beat them. I know in like a mock-up meet right now we have like 66 points and they have 33, so it's not. It sounds like the odds are not in our favor. However, our coaches have been really like pumped and talking about how like the different courses and stuff, how they've
Yeah.
like our times would compare if we were on the same courses and stuff. And just like all of our teammates have like put in so much effort, and I think they can run some really amazing times, and hopefully knock off some spots, and I think it'll be closer than people say.
Yeah. I mean, on that note, I don't think either of you guys have Westford Academy or Lexington have raced at Rentham or Fort Devens this year,
Yeah, we
which is where the
raced.
meets will be.
Yeah, we did a workout at the like coaches meet at Rentham last Saturday. I actually like
Yeah.
tweaked my TFL and IT band the week before, so I wasn't racing there. I was kind of disappointed because I wanted a little like course preview, but
Yeah.
yeah. And then I think Lexington might have raced at Rentham once earlier this season, but I'm not exactly sure. And neither of us have gone to Devon's yet. Well, actually,
Yeah.
my team went and did a mile repeats there a few weeks ago, which went interesting too, though.
But do you feel pretty comfortable with both courses, or getting knowledge from some of your teammates that may have run at Fort Devens last year?
Yeah, I think well, like Rentham is such a crazy course. I mean, it seems like oh yeah, it's such a fast course, being completely flat and on like just like the grass field and whatnot. But going there and watching the races on Saturday, I was like, wow, there's a lot of U-turns and like 90-degree turns in this course. It's a little
Yeah.
crazy. And like the little bits of hill like in like the ditches of the field
Yeah.
kind of are also like mixing things up too. So I was glad I didn't race it then because I didn't want to like tweak my hip again in those turns and stuff. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting for this Saturday because you'll really get the fast times out of it. And I think Devon's is more of a traditional cross country course where
Yeah,
it
that's what it
really
seems
brings out
like.
like the grit in everyone, and like going up that massive like hill in the woods is definitely a challenge and something I always think about. I remember from my sophomore year, I think the states there, it had rained the night before or something, and there was a massive mud puddle at the bottom, and we just kept watching people going sliding down into the mud. So
Cool. You also mentioned, kind of already mentioned, college next year. So you're going to University of Washington, is that
yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Um, what was I guess, the experience like of, recruitment and I guess landing on that decision?
Yeah, it's crazy to think that it's been a year since I started reaching out to colleges and stuff. And so when I reached out to Maurica, the coach there, it was just like there was such a like instant connection, I'd say, and like getting to know her over the past year and just like really making a bond with her was something that like really stood out to me from all the other coaches I talked to, and something I really value because in the past year, getting to know my like private coach as well, she has helped me so much through so many challenges and stuff. And I think having a relationship that's like that close knit and friendly with a coach is something really nice, and that I like. I'm really close with like my school coaches and stuff as well. It's just that like having like a woman coach in like that position who like really connects with you and knows what you've gone through and any challenges and stuff was really helpful because she supported me through like I reached out when I wasn't running with when I didn't know what anything would be looking like, and she just always had faith in me and like knew that I would like that everything would be all right. And then also like I just fell in love with the school when I visited. I loved the campus. I want to major in biology, and they have an amazing bio program there. And just like the team seemed so nice, and I love the water. I love the mountains, and they have both. So what more could you ask for?
Yeah, I was gonna ask about. I guess, is it Maurica? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah,
Um, she's a Mass native. I believe she's from
yeah,
Franklin.
yep.
Was that? Do you think that kind of helped or aided with you guys connecting? Just hailing from Massachusetts.
Yeah, it was something she brought up like the first phone call or something, and I found it's such a small world. That was really cool. She was out here visiting her family over the summer, and she came for a home visit, and like that was so much fun too. And her husband is actually also from Massachusetts, and they're now both like the women's and men's coaches at UW, which is really cool too. And yeah, like her knowing like all the quirks of all the like New England courses and stuff and the weather and everything, and letting me like rant to her about like having workouts messed up because we had to go shovel the track or something.
Yeah,
Is yeah, it was really cool too. So
yeah. I think, again, if you wind up sticking with the mile, they're doing pretty well out there in the mile in the
yeah,
1500 department.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
um, did you get to meet Sophie O'Sullivan, the 1500-meter champ from like this
Oh,
past
when
spring?
yeah, so when I went out for my official visit, she was actually not there for that quarter. She was back in Australia where she's from, and I saw her in passing actually at the Penn Relays and stuff when I got to meet up with the team again, but I haven't gotten to know her too well yet.
Um, you talked about kind of being excited, to go up to the next level. When you see some of these athletes, like her, for example, or any of the like Doris Levinghole, is that intimidating, or does that inspire you? Like, feel like you can be on that level one day?
I think watching college races used to really intimidate me with like hundreds of and like cross country specifically is what I was thinking about is like hundreds of girls like all running out and they're all in like one pack and like there's like it's nothing like high school cross country because within like a half a mile everyone's like on their own it seems and stuff, especially like this past year like I haven't really had the opportunity to run with many people like for the entirety of the race. So I've realized that that's something I'm actually really excited for, and that's like my biggest like the thing I'm most excited for, I'd say, going into like training in college is like having people to pace you, having someone to like sit for you to sit back and them to like run the rep and then you to take over or something, and just like getting to do workouts with other people is something that would be really cool that I haven't really gotten the chance to do much of. So I'm excited for that, yeah. And then like the racing aspect too, you just have more competition as well. I'd say like you never have to go to a meet knowing that like, well, I'm just gonna be out there alone. And I'm really excited to have like that team like aspect of it. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Did you guys talk about potentially, or I guess any thoughts of moving up in distance, or do you definitely want to stick with the mile for a bit?
What I find that's really like interesting and what I love so much about their team too is like how like versatile everyone is. There's girls on the team that are like mainly 1500 runners, but go down and run the 800 all the time, or will run the 3K or maybe even the 5K or something. And that's something like I'd love to play around with. I don't know where I'll go. Maybe when I'm older, I'll be more of a 3K, 5K runner, or maybe I'll stay with the 1500. But I'm really excited to like not just be stuck in one domain and like have the chance to continue improving on my 800 and like my 800 speed, and then also like see what I can do in a 3K, like I was saying about running a 2 mile in high school now and stuff. So yeah.
Cool. I think that's about it, but I did have one question I wanted to ask you before we signed off. Was is there, thinking back to when you were like a freshman or a sophomore, was there a moment where like you watched like an older, or where you were like really impressed by like an older runner, and like that kind of inspired you, or really changed your perception of what fast was? Like, sometimes you come into high school and you think, like, I'm sure if you, like you said, if someone had told you that you were running 4:34, you probably would have been shocked, but here you are. Was there anyone, or like any moment, I guess, when you were younger where like it just kind of changed your whole perspective on the sport?
I remember specifically my freshman year at outdoor track all states. I was running the 800, I think, or I was running the 800 and I was watching the mile I think it was on the other day of the 2-day meet, and I was watching. It was Amelia Everett, who now runs at Stanford, and like Camille Jordan, who runs at Penn. They were like both like 200 meters ahead of the entire rest of the crowd, and I was just like, wow, how can someone be that far ahead of anyone else? I thought that was so amazing. And then yeah, I think just there's been so many instances of like whether it was watching college stuff or like especially watching high school stuff, and all the like the national records being broken by Ali Zealand, Sadie Engelhart within a few minutes, and like all of how amazing Sadie Englehart's season was her junior year, and then last year watching Jane Hendegren and just like dominating, and especially now like watching her in college too in the 6K in her debut that's been pretty amazing too. And then also I think it came really full circle at last outdoor nationals when I ran the mile and I was third, and Sadie Engelhart was second, and I know she was coming off of an injury, but that was really cool to see that I was like, wow, I'm only like tenths of a second off of this person that I've looked up to for so long. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a really cool element of the sport, because there's definitely a lot of younger runners that are probably watching you. I mean, I was at the MIAA Champions outdoors, and I think the whole crowd was on their feet when you ran 4:37. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of people having that experience watching you run now. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there. I don't want to keep you too late. It's a school night, and like we talked, you got a lot of big races coming up. Okay, but yeah, thank you again for chatting with me, and I appreciate you sharing all that information.
thank you. Yeah.